The Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading presents This Book is Cool! With your host, Beth Duda. Coming up, Miss Beth will have a special arts activity, words to put in your word bank, and a special interview with a person who thinks the book you are reading is cool.
Hello friends, welcome to This Book is Cool. My name is Beth Duda. I'm the director of the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading, working with the Patterson Foundation. Today we have a wonderful book. It's called Helen Keller. And we have a very special guest to talk to us about why this book is cool. Today we have with us Randy Reed. Hi Randy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Well, I feel like I need to let all of our friends know that I've actually known you for decades. I knew you when you were a young boy.
I mean, when I was 10.
When you were 10, and now here you are, a grown man with a great job, and it's so exciting to have you here. And you were the first person I thought of when I knew that we were going to be doing a book about Helen Keller.
Well, there we are.
Now, one of the things about Helen Keller that makes her so famous is that she was blind and deaf.
That's correct. And that does happen. It doesn't happen as much as it used to because medicine has advanced, but it still can.
Right.
Where something happens. And with me, it was genetic. I was born with it. For some people, it's a premature birth. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different reasons that it can happen. And then later on in life, there's a lot of different reasons it can happen. So age-related is
Yes.
a big one. And different conditions and accidents and things like that. So, and I think it's important to send the message early on that, hey, if you have a disability, it's not over. It's a change.
And did you learn about Helen Keller when you were younger?
Everybody that was in my environment learned about Helen Keller when we were younger. Mm-hmm. And there's two reasons. One is they use it because she did have a very adventurous life. You know, she did horseback riding, she did swimming, she did a bunch of different things. She wasn't afraid to try things, and so it's used as a tool to show students with vision loss that hey. Here's this person and she had the same thing and look at what she did. And it's also used for teaching children without disabilities, hey, this person, has vision loss, but they still want the same things you want. They still want to live. They still want to do the same things you do. They're just going to do them differently.
Yes. Meeting you taught me a lot, mm-hmm. Because at first I think I wanted to treat you like you couldn't do things because you didn't have vision. And then I quickly learned, just from your spirit and your sense of adventure, that there wasn't anything that you wouldn't try.
No, oh yeah, no, we're going to try it.
You work with the Lighthouse Education Center. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Sure. So the Lighthouse Education Center is a non-for-profit organization that teaches people who experience vision loss, compensatory and adaptive skills for leading independent lives.
I love those big words you used. Were you a client at Lighthouse ever?
So when I was a kid, I was a client at Lighthouse. This would have been, back in 98 and 99. I attended a summer camp there. And then I was a client later on after I got out of college. And I did a work experience there, and then I went and got my master's in blindness and low vision studies. And when I came back, they had a position open as an independent living instructor, and I took it.
So Randy, show me how you use your laptop.
Sure. So it's powered by a screen reader, which is a piece of software that it gives you an auditory interpretation of what is actually on screen.
Lighthouse Vision Loss Education Center. Google Chrome page has 77 links, 428 articles.
I know that you are a big reader, but you read differently than I do.
Right. So Helen Keller also learned to use Braille, which was invented by Louis Braille. That is a system that you, it has 6 dots, and the different patterns of dots make up the letters, and you read it with your fingers. Now, I also am a big fan of audiobooks, because they let me read while I do other things around the house. So I like that multitasking, just like people who, have a long commute to work may use an audiobook as company in the car. It's kind of the same, it's kind of the same deal for me, but Helen Keller wrote, 12 books, and there's a lot of adaptations of her life story.
Very often, when her story is told, the story of Annie Sullivan
Yes,
is
her
told.
teacher, yes. So that would be The Miracle Worker. That's probably the most famous adaptation that I know of.
Well, this book was written definitely with young people in mind.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Which is great. And I enjoyed that it had so many facts about Helen Keller's life. You mentioned that she wrote so many books, but she was also fluent in several languages,
Yes, English, Spanish, and German.
I thought that was fascinating, that she could read and write
Yep.
in languages other than English.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed reading this book about Helen Keller, and I think our viewers are also going to enjoy the book. Not only does it have great information about Helen Keller, but we've got some words we're going to put into our word bank.
Okay.
All right. The first word in our word bank is blind. Blind. That means unable to see. Blind. The next word in our word bank is the word deaf. That means unable to hear. Deaf. The next word in our word bank is actually 2 words, fingerspell. Randy, did you ever learn how to fingerspell?
So when I was doing my master's, we did a little bit of it, but I have not learned it to use it because I am just blind. My hearing is fine.
Yes.
For right now.
So you don't have to learn how to fingerspell, but Helen Keller, because she was blind and deaf, she needed to learn how to fingerspell. This is the letter for W, this is the symbol for O, and this is the symbol for W. So I just spelled the word wow by fingerspelling. The next word for our word bank is the word Braille, and Randy talked to us about that. Braille is a way that people without vision can learn how to read with raised dots on the paper. So they actually read with their fingertips. And our last word for our word bank is the word suffragette. Suffragette. That's a woman who works for the right of other women to be able to vote. Our activity today is going to be using the Braille alphabet to spell our names. The Braille alphabet is a series of dots that represent each letter. And as you can see on the chart, each of the letters in the alphabet has a certain pattern of dots. I started mine a little bit earlier, and I've already written my first name in dots. I read with my eyes. But Helen Keller was able to read with her finger by putting her finger on the dots and feeling the pattern. And that's how she knows or knew which letter was represented. I hope you have fun writing your own name using the Braille alphabet. You could do your first name and last name, or just your first name, or if you just want to practice making a letter or 2. If you do, I hope you'll take a picture of it and send it to us. You can send it to connect@grade-level-reading suncoast.net. It was so much fun spending time with my friend Randy Reed today. I learned a lot about Helen Keller, but I also learned a lot about him. I hope you have a wonderful week. Remember, reading is the key to succeeding. Until we see each other again, bye-bye for now.